This is really weird.
Mm.
How about now? It says you're live. And we're live! Are we? Let's hope. So, let's start again. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Build, Paint, Play. I'm Dave.
And I'm Jake. There we go. Now it looks like it's live.
Okay, fantastic. So we can just ignore everything that we said before. That's
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
I don't know why. There's a blue button that says Go Live. I clicked it, and it's like it's a little bit to get it going, and then it appeared to go live. I don't know.
It looks like it's working now. So
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't drop out or stop or anything like that. So, folks will let us know when they are in the chat. That'll be good. Okay, cool.
all right.
So, yes, so things have been pretty busy for you over the last week.
Yeah, a little bit.
Some mad scrambling
just
business-wise.
yeah, dealing with landlord stuff, and it's been a lot. But yeah, hopefully, we are inching closer to a solution. So I think we'll be okay.
Cool. That's good. Excellent.
But so it's let's get into it. How was Nova? How was your week?
It was good. The so my week before that, so I did a little bit more on my second Hackathon Land Fortress.
Nice.
So that's the first.
I do love that paint scheme.
Yeah. So and slightly different panels on the second one to give it a different look.
Slightly different.
Slightly different look. Yep. And when I went to Nova, I spent a bunch of time at the Game Envy booth with Kit and Derek.
Sure.
And we had a great fun time. I was sitting there doing some painting. There's a photo of me coming up in the show doing that. And but I got to use their new lamp that they're working on. So
Okay.
it should be either available later in the year or Kickstarter later in the year. I don't know that Kit's sort of fully dialed that in. But yeah, it was very cool. It was a LED lamp. Had a lot of flexibility as to how it can be moved. It sort of created an arch over the top, but you could have it like nice and high. You could have it down nice and low.
Did you get pictures of it?
Yeah. So it's in the pic. But yeah, so I took my Sagittars along to get some painting on them, and I got one almost finished. Just needs decals, weathering, and the pilot needs to be painted.
Very nice.
And I got the base coats down on the panels for some of the others. So again, switching up some of the color panels so they look a little bit different on the table.
Nice.
Which would be good. Yes.
I like it.
So it was fun messing around with that. I got some more of the steel helms assembled. And I bought a Redemptor Dreadnought and printed some parts to make it a Brutalis Dreadnought.
Oh, right.
So switch out the arms and the back gun. Whatever.
I'm just gonna use my Leviathan as a Brutalis Dreadnought.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair. So in the new rules, you can't run Leviathans anymore. So you used to be able to do a 0-1 choice. It was a relic, and I already have one all painted up in my Flesh Eaters scheme. So I was like, I'm just gonna. It's basically the same size. I was like, I'm just gonna use my Leviathan.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's cool. I must admit, I didn't even think about that. Feel terrible, but of course, I've been having fun doing some 3D printing with some friends, so I must
Nice.
that. But yeah, so they're the three projects I've got going on at the moment. Hooray! Cities of Sigmar, Votan, and Marines.
Nice.
But it was
Good stuff.
all good. I wonder who do we have we got a chat going?
Yeah, we got Josh is here, Scott's here, Dan's here, Jim, Jeff Smith's here, Nicole's on as well. Hello, everybody.
Cool.
Can you see the chat or no?
I couldn't, but I can now. So, excellent. That's good. Awesome.
Sean's on here too. I'm having a little bit of hobby paralysis.
Yeah.
So I was thinking the other day, I sat down and I was like, okay, so not counting my Horus Heresy stuff, I have 4 Space Marine armies.
Okay.
I have my original Blood Angels, which they're all firstborn.
Yep.
So they look super tiny now. When
They do, but yeah.
They look weird. So, but that's my preferred army. That's the army I play all the time. And then I've got, I have a all Vanguard list that's Alpha Legion.
Right.
Which I stopped working on when they switched editions because I was like, well, I don't know what this is going to look like now. And until the new codex is out, I have no idea how it's going to work. And then I've got the Flesh Eaters army that I've been building that's mostly stuff from the Indomitus box, and I added a couple of units onto it.
Right.
But now that they teased the new Jump Marines,
Yep.
I'm tempted to buy like 6 boxes of those and rebuild my firstborn army using the new models.
Right. Okay.
But I'm like, do I finish the Flesh Eaters first and then move on to that, or do I do what I always do, which is leave an army like 60% done and then just move on to the next thing?
Well, how do you always feel? How does it make you feel if you like getting 60%
I feel like
done?
I feel like I'm perpetually like I'm not getting any closer to shore.
Sure, but do you enjoy swimming? Is what I'm asking.
There are times where I want to not be swimming.
Okay, right. maybe you do a little bit of both. Maybe you don't get 6 boxes, get like 4, and then do some on the just.
I had an idea, and I'll run it by the chat, see what people think. So, what I did with my firstborn chapter, because I was so tired of just painting Blood Angels all the time.
Yep.
I used my GW Bad Latin, and I made them the Consanguinitas. So the idea is that it's a patchwork force of all the chapters of Blood.
Right.
So I have like 2 guys who are Lamenters, and I've got a couple of Blood Drinkers mixed in. So it's a patchwork looking army, but the idea is that they're technically all Blood Angels, so I can use all the same rules.
Right.
So what I might do is I might add on to the existing Flesh Eaters army.
Yep.
And paint each of the squads differently. So I might do a squad of jump troops that are like Knights of Blood, and then a squad of jump troops that are like Flesh Terrors,
Yep.
and then a squad that's like something else. Because then I can run them all together, and it'll make my army look a little different, which I kind of dig. So maybe I'll do that. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you should totally do that. And the other thing that it does there is you're not like, oh, I've got to paint another 30 guys in this color scheme.
Right.
I've got to paint another 40 guys in this color scheme. It's perfect. But the one of the big things, though, is the way that it sounds like the codexes are going is that there won't be or supplemental codexes would work differently, but the approach is like there's not going to be a Imperial Fist list.
Right.
It'll be a Space Marines list where there's advantages for guys with bolters.
Well, so there is
build to like a detachment.
So there are rules. So the Blood Angels, the Black Templars, the Death Watch, the Dark Angels, and the Space Wolves have their own special rules if you run them.
They're their own detachments.
Right. Yep. So like I'll be running them they'll count as Blood Angels.
Yep.
Not to get too far afield, but like one of the weirdest things that Ben and I were talking about the other day, and I haven't seen anything different yet, is right now there's the Space Marines Combat Patrol, which is the one we talked about, which is super overpowered.
Right.
It's like seven Terminators and 5 Infernus Marines.
Yep.
And those can be run as Space Marines.
Yep.
But then there's a Blood Angels There's a Blood Angels Combat Patrol.
Yep.
And the Dark Angels one, and so on and so forth. None of them are particularly great, and the Blood Angels one is not a Blood Angels Combat Patrol. It is the weirdest assortment of miniatures I've ever seen. It's a Librarian. I was like, cool, that makes sense. That's Blood Angels. And then it's 5 Incursors, and I was like, all their bonuses are for close combat. Incursors don't want to get in close combat.
Yep.
And then there's a Impulsor Transport, and then there's 3... Is it 3 or...
Three aggressors. Yep.
Yeah, 3 aggressors. I'm like, again, which I'm like, who thought this up? This is not a Blood Angels box. Like, So weird.
It's kind of true. I've been looking at it for my army. But I won't be doing
Yes.
anything Blood Angels related. But I want those aggressors, and Impulsor would be handy.
Oh, it's a good box. It's definitely a good box. But as far as a Blood Angels box goes, I was like, this is terrible. Like, I would never run this.
Yeah.
It should just be like, and maybe they'll release rules where you can make a combat patrol. Like if you follow these 5 things.
Probably.
Because I was like, if I was going to do a combat patrol for Blood Angels, I would do a 10-man squad of intercessors, of assault intercessors.
Yep.
And then I would do like a captain.
Right.
And then maybe like a 5-man unit of Death Company. Like that's it. That's the whole list.
Yep.
But
we'll see how it goes. We'll see what they come up with.
So a bunch of other people jumped on. So Sean jumped on. Hey Sean. John jumped on. So Jim said he's looking forward to Dave's positivity from Nova. Everyone's really bummed out about Eldar Overlords from the 40K event.
Yep.
Scott says throw everything at curveball and get a Malifaux crew. I mean, I could, but then what would I do with it?
Yeah.
Jim says it's called the 80% rule. Get about 80% and call it a day. James wants you, me, and 2 others to do a Tale of 4 gamers so I can get an army completed.
Amazingly enough, I was thinking that maybe we should do another show. I was watching Arbiter Ian's bonus episode, Tale of 4 Gamers, that he did dropped a couple of days ago. And I was like, this is kind of the format we already have, where it's like a bunch of talking heads doing toy soldier stuff. So we should talk about that after the show.
I like that. I mean, again, every time I have my deadline, I get it done. Like when I do commissions, I get them done.
Yep.
I got my Iron Warriors done in time for Adepticon.
Yep. Well, I think we should do an Adepticon thing, something for Adepticon.
Okay, all right.
Work out what it is. Yep.
Sean says if finishing an army feels like a chore, it makes sense to move on to one that doesn't feel that way. Sean says he played Malifaux almost every day of Nova. Scott says, wait, Fleshters are the good guys now? Yep. How was the time commitment for Malifaux? Could a guy sign up for some painting classes and still play? And then Sean said, yeah, most events went 9 to 7.
Yep.
All right.
Cool.
All right, I'm
also going to go jump right to back to Scott saying, bad news, I forbid Dave from kit bashing any of the Cities of Sigmar stuff with 40k minis. Sorry, man, just the way it has to be, I guess. Well, to be fair, Scott, I wasn't planning on doing it for at least, I don't know, 6 months. But it'll happen, for sure.
Scott will have forgotten by then.
I'll give you, like, 6 months of kit bash free zone for the Cities of Sigmar on my desk. But after that, we'll get back to it.
I will say I do like the new models that got teased at Nova. That Space Marine Captain with jump pack.
Right. Yeah.
His rules are gross. So he gives any unit he's attached to gets +1 strength.
Right.
So if I run him, which I would,
Yep.
if I run Blood Angels already get +1 strength on the charge.
Right.
And then if it's a unit that has there's another special rule they have that you can give them +1 to their weapon strength.
Okay.
So he would basically make it so that their strength 7 on the charge.
Oh my goodness. That would be crazy.
So that'll be pretty bad.
Yep. But I suppose against Marines, though, it doesn't really matter if you're strength 5 or strength 7. It's still
sure. But if anybody is running anything like bikers or like greater demons or carnifexes, like Marines could actually kill a carnifex in close combat on the charge.
Right. Yeah.
Which is pretty great.
Make a big difference there, for sure. Well, that's good. Oh yeah. Sorry. And John saying in there says, if finishing an army feels like a chore, it makes sense to move on to one that doesn't feel that way. For sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Cycle through. Excellent. Okay, we've got a ton of photos.
Okay, let's to
go into. So we'll jump in, we'll talk about Nova. We'll talk about the Capital Palette. And we'll talk about the miniatures that were posted in the group this week. Sound cool?
Sure.
Excellent. Is that kind of the way you're expecting it to go?
I came in with no expectations.
Awesome. Okie dokie. Let's look. So, quick background story. I went down on... so I drove down to DC on Thursday evening along Connecticut Avenue, Northwest. I don't think I've driven down that way before. and there were a few sort of sites along the way that I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that was there. And one of the things I drove past was the zoo. So it's the Washington, D.C. Zoo. So the next morning when I got up bright and early, I took a walk up to check that out. I didn't check out the whole zoo, just walked past the front of it. But it was a lovely morning for a walk.
Right on.
This was a Friday morning, probably around 7:30 a.m.
That giant stone lion could be some 40K terrain.
Oh yeah, it could be. Definitely. But so a mutual friend of ours, Nigel Wood, told me that if you're in town, like in a town that you haven't really been to before, I've been to DC, but not this area before. He said, and you're going to go for a walk, just find a street and walk until you run out of sidewalk, and then turn around and come back. I didn't quite have time for that.
That can be dangerous.
So I only walked, 2 miles. But definitely quite nice in the morning. There we go. Oh my goodness. What's going on there? Oh.
Jim says, last chance to see the pandas. They go back to China in December.
Right. Okay. So next up I have, let's see if this is going to work. Oh yeah, here we go. I have a little video of a walkthrough of the Age of Sigmar, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars Legion, Star Wars Shatterpoint. I think there might have been 1 or 2 other games in that particular hall, but let's see if I can get it to work. Let's go. So this hall was sort of on the middle level, like the top level where the Hobby Haven and the hotel lobby was. The next one down had Capital Palette vendor hall. This room, they had a whole bunch of seminar rooms. And then down on the bottom levels where they had the massive 40K hall. They had a lounge area. And play that one more time. And then the demo row. Yeah, lots of cool stuff going on there. Lots of Imperial terrain. Stuff there for the Legion and Shatterpoint players.
It's definitely, the rooms are, that's definitely a much bigger room than normal for,
yeah.
Which is nice.
Yep, it's definitely good. So, that was just a walkthrough I did on the, I think I did that on the Thursday night while they were playing. But on Friday, I spent a bunch of time at the Game Envy booth with Kit and Derek, hanging out using, as you know, I have the Game Envy wet palette and the brushes, so it gave me a chance to sit down and work on my Sagittars.
Nice.
Have a bit of fun, talk to some folks. They were also selling my books, so just off to the right of that photo, there was a big display of the Dave Feller Miniatures books, the Tremendous Tome.
Did you sign any for the kids?
For the and if by kids you mean 40-year-old adults who live in their parents' basement, yes, I did sign a few.
No.
But no, it was cool. There were lots of they had all the Art of series there, and Terrain Essentials as well. So I think there was pretty good sales over the weekend, which was nice.
Scott, did the room smell like it looks?
I'm not sure. I think my nostrils have been burnt out many moons ago, so I couldn't.
I would guess no. This is a new hotel with a brand new HVAC system. I would bet that it did not.
No, it's not a completely new hotel. It's been around for a while.
Yeah, but it's a hotel, so like they have an industrial HVAC system.
No, it was actually pretty good, Scott. It wasn't too hot outside at that time. So, but one of the things in the picture here that was super cool to use was the lamp that they've got there. I was describing it to Jake earlier. It's got like a LED strip and other arms that sort of bend out to the side there that have LEDs on them. So it's like creating an arch. So if you have one of those arches already, you don't need a lamp like this. But this one's a lot better than what I currently have in my painting area.
Nice.
So I was providing light. And one of the cool things as well is because there was so much light around, even when I had a miniature in my hand and I was painting away, it wasn't casting any shadow on it, even though I had light. Like one of the pieces of light was right here.
Yep.
I was like, that was just like, that's great. So nice that there's no shadow. So that was definitely cool. But yeah, so I was there on Friday and Saturday and a little bit on Sunday as well. But had a lot of fun. The next photo of it here is the main ballroom where they had all of the 40k gaming set up. So basically, if it was a 40k event, it was held in this hall, which was absolutely massive. Main tournaments, the larger tournaments, were down on the floor. They had a big sort of raised sort of walkway around the sides where a lot of the smaller events were. So the 40k narrative, for example, was down the back of the hall, up on that raised walkway around the side.
Nice.
This is also...
The room looks really cool.
From here, the shot where I am at the moment is probably standing almost with my back to the big Terminator that everybody's seen. I didn't take a photo of that. Sorry. But that was the GW store was down here. There were a couple of other vendors as well. And some food was available very close to the 40k gaming. It does look very cool. Some people who played in there were like, yeah, this is fantastic. This is really great. And other people were like, I wish I could have been able to read my codex a little, or my cards a little bit easier. Because the lighting wasn't particularly great.
Yeah, it does seem kind of like blue and dim in there.
Yeah, yep. So I'm not sure whether it's a case of this is as bright as they could get it, or if it was like they could get it brighter, but the event organizers might have maybe felt like, sorry, the hotel staff members who work with events might have thought, oh no, this is bright enough, regardless of how many times the Nova staff asked them to brighten it up. But I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out next year. But to Jim's earlier comment about the everyone's bummed about our Eldar overlords from the 40k event. I think 9 out of the top 10 were Eldar. So
yeah, but I heard they were all basically playing slight variants of the same list.
Pretty much. So.
Yeah, like that's so. I don't say argument. I got into a discussion with a couple of customers yesterday because some kids said that. One kid was at Nova, and the other 3 kids had talked about going to the next tournament, and they were talking about how like, oh yeah, well Eldar this, that, and the other thing, and I'm sitting down doing work, and I hear one kid go, well right now the Eldar have a 70% win rate, and I was like, okay, I'm like, they don't. I was like, that number doesn't mean anything, and they said, what do you mean? And I said, Eldar don't have a 70% win rate. That specific Eldar build has a 70% win rate. And he was like, right. And I was like, so unless you want to play that exact list, that number isn't helpful to you. I said, because like the Eldar list that I have, that I own, I haven't built it yet. Yep. I own and I think they're the coolest models. It's the Corsairs.
Right. Yep.
Like the pirate dudes. So I have 2 squads of those, one from the Kill Team box and another one a buddy of mine gave. So I have 2 of those. I have the half of that Eldar versus whatever box came out of Eldar versus Chaos Marines a while ago.
Yep.
So Ray who works with us, Ray bought the Chaos half and basically gave me the Eldar. So I've got the 3 sniper jet bikes and like all the snipers, and then I'll probably run. I'll probably buy a box of like Howling Banshees.
Yep.
And put Jane Czar in them because they're super cool. But I was like, I think that's a fun Eldar list. Like I would run that list because it's fun. I was like, so all these like meta chaser kids, those numbers don't mean anything. They're not real. Like unless you are playing that specific list that some math nerd has sat down and been like, well, I don't have anything else to do. I guess I'll just crunch the numbers on this. Those numbers don't mean anything.
Right.
Like they really don't. Like I've played.
What they do mean, Jake, is that I agree that in the broad sense they don't mean anything. The sense that they do mean something is that they're the numbers that GW is looking at for their balance.
Sure. Yeah.
So
but again, like that number in the real world, the only people that number matters to are people who are meta chasing.
Sure. And
Like if
GW,
you're
when they put out their balanced data slates, it's based on, okay, so where are these armies performing? And at the moment, they're seeing that Eldar are performing out here.
But the problem is that they always are, and I will say the announcement that they made when we were at Adepticon,
Yep.
it's worded very politely, but they've essentially told people that if you are part of the competitive meta,
Yep.
they don't care.
Right.
Like that's GW does not care about that anymore. They're not going to go around trying to like overbalance lists,
Yep.
which to be fair is the right thing to do because the competitive players are such a tiny slice of the community.
Yep.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
So now if organizers are like, hey, we're not going to allow you to take these 3 things, or if you take this specific build, you automatically start with a handicap, like that's up to the organizers to handle that stuff.
Sure.
I don't think that's GW's problem because there's always going to be ways that you can break the rules.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, they will. Absolutely. I think it'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting.
I mean, I've played a slight variant of the same Blood Angels army since probably 3rd edition. And granted, I don't play a ton of games anymore, but when I used to be a ranked player, there was no meta. It was pretty balanced in 3rd and 4th edition.
Yep.
So in 5th edition, 6th edition, 7th edition, 8th edition, I didn't lose a game in 9th edition. I didn't lose a game in 8th edition. And I'm playing the same list. I'm not playing a super powerful meta list.
Yep.
But you know, it's like if you know about tactics and deployment, and you get lucky with dice rolls, and you understand how the terrain works, you're always going to have an advantage over somebody who's just like playing a hot list. So,
sure. I got to say, I didn't lose a game with my Votan in ninth edition.
Nice.
I played 1 game with them. So
you know what? That's unbeaten. Unbeaten. You have 1,000% win rate.
Exactly. Okie dokie. Yes. So Friday was essentially getting settled in, wandering around, checking out the hotel, working out, aligning sort of where things were in the stack of the hotel.
Right.
And so that was fun.
Yeah,
it's all good.
I'm so used to Nova being vertical.
Yeah. No, it's still vertical, but it's wider and not as tall. Still has height to it, but yeah.
So it's not like the Necromunda Spire, but it's getting there.
Yeah, it was definitely spreading out. But that was good. There were some issues. I guess this is the point, the time to bring them up. I say issues, probably challenges. Is the positive way to put it. But so just quickly, parking was a bit of an issue, but parking is always an issue at Nova. This time was perhaps a little bit more odd, but I think it'll just take people a little bit to get used to that. I ended up parking in the parking garage where the like the max headroom sign was 5'7". So it's like, I'm glad I was, pretty much. Yep. So thankfully my car is short, so I was able to drive in there. But the other fun part was that it was like a once in a lifetime occurrence. The Hilton Hotel had their room key system go down, and it was down and out for good chunk of Wednesday, all of Thursday, and most of Friday as well. But the hotel dealt with it as best they could. I was telling Jake beforehand, if you wanted to go to your room, you had to show them your room number and your ID, and they would call somebody over who would escort you to your room. They would walk with you to your room, open your door, and let you in. So I think a lot of people avoided going back to their rooms during the day, just in case. I will say that I had perfect luck, and everybody who walked me to my room was very pleasant and professional. I do have a couple of friends who that wasn't the case for them, so a little bit of a shame. But that was something definitely out of Nova's control. But I think the hotel tried to deal with it as much as they could. Scott says, I disagree, Jake. A well-balanced points-based game hurts none of the player base. I don't mind the newer GW style of admitting when there is a problem and addressing it.
Oh, I look, I agree. I understand that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying from a player standpoint.
Yep. Next up, so on Saturday, because I was in DC, I thought, I haven't been to the White House before. So I took a walk down.
Oh, you went with Kat, right? Didn't you and Kat walk down?
Yeah, I walked down there with Kat Jackson, Kat of CK Studios, but also now the events and community manager for the Army Painter. So super cool. It was a lot of fun to wander down there in the morning. Way in the distance, in the middle there, behind the fences, is the White House. It was about a 2-mile walk down from the venue, which is good, 2 miles back. So I felt pretty good about getting my steps in each day. It's very nice. But basically, if I turned 180 degrees from there, it would have been the Washington Monument.
Yep.
And it's probably like a less than that, less than a quarter mile to the Washington Monument, and then you'd be on the Mall, and you could look up towards the Capitol or down towards the Lincoln Memorial, and then you've got all the Smithsonian's lining the mall.
The Smithsonian is awesome.
Yep. So loads of great stuff there. Next up, after that, is on Saturday I took a bit more of a wander around the halls, and there were loads of there was a huge variety of games going on, mostly in a tournament format. Some of them weren't in a tournament format. Some were just demo games. As I mentioned, there was Demo Row, so a lot of folks doing demos. Our friend Jay Walker from Warsenal and his wife Sarah were running demos of Warcrow. So I checked and asked Jay if he was the one who'd built the demo table. And if you remember, we looked at that from Gen Con. But unfortunately, it wasn't Jay. It was a Spanish company. But this photo here is from the WAP event, the Warhammer Armies Project event. So the guy there, actually both of these guys were playing Empire, but one of them was playing...
One guy definitely is.
Yeah, one guy was playing it a little bit harder than the other. But yeah, it was good. So one of my friends, Rusty, there, he was playing Chaos, and he had all of his 3rd edition Chaos minis, 2nd and 3rd edition Chaos minis. Really old stuff from back in the day, which is great. But yeah, the Warhammer Armies Project, so you can Google that to check it out and see which, because I said, which edition are you playing? And he goes, Warhammer Armies Project. Okay, radio. So go and check that out. Which is quite cool. But there was Conquest. There was Conquest, like Last Argument of Kings, I think it's called.
Yep.
Judgment was being played. Arena Rex. A friend of the show, Leah Gustafson, was running the Arena Rex. Chris Weinstein was running the Judgment stuff. Necromunda. I don't think I saw any more time, but it might have been there tucked away. A whole range of things anyway. Loads of cool stuff. Next up, the photo here is one of the games from Demo Row. I'm just going to take it out of Polyversal. There we go. It's a 6mm sci-fi game. And that table looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, the table looks great.
Yep. So yeah,
I want to play BattleTech on it.
There were BattleTech games going on, not necessarily on that table, but definitely at the show. Absolutely awesome. There we go. Next up, we've got a photo of the Hobby Haven. So in the Hobby Haven, that was sponsored by the Army Painter this year. So along this row here, you got that sort of the curve of the hotel. Huge windows, lots of natural light coming in, and all along that set of windows were tables where people were painting, people were doing impromptu painting lessons. There was speed painting. There was all sorts of stuff. There were raffles going on, raising money for charity. All sorts of awesome stuff. So during the day, there were probably, I don't know, 60 people
Nice.
in there at all times, just rotating through, doing different activities, which was fantastic. On the left-hand side, there are the seminar rooms. So I think upstairs they had 5 seminar rooms, and then down below this level there were another 4 seminar rooms. And over the weekend there were 100 seminars run, which is absolutely awesome. Everything from like an hour and a half long to 6 hours long. Had loads of great instructors, which was fantastic to see. So I think it's just going to grow a lot more. One of the things that I'll mention now is the Nova Open team. Actually, and my camera is going to reverse it. I'm going to put it up on the big screen. There we go. I was going to reverse it, but they gave the instructors and the judges and everybody who was involved in running an event that had to do with the art component of the hobby an apron. That's what this is. With Art First. Lots of great Art First stickers around the place. They're very definitely putting a big focus on letting people know that there were a lot of opportunities to be involved in painting miniatures at the show, which was absolutely great.
Right on. I like that.
Yep. It was it was really nice that the team have sort of gone in that direction and decided that this is what we want to do. We want to make the big push. So next up, and I'm not sure why, but when there are bright lights nearby, my phone looks like it's owned by J.J. Abrams.
It's all lens flare.
It's all lens flares. So I apologize for the overuse of lens flares in my photography, but it was not deliberate. So Capital Palette, I mentioned before. I'm not sure. Did I mention on the show the numbers, or did I just tell you about those before?
I don't remember.
Anyway, so
oh yeah. That was before.
That
we
was
were
before.
not. We were not live.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So at the show last year for the Capital Palette, we had 410 entries from 160 participants, which was great. Our judging team of 6 judges was able to sort of judge those in about 4 hours last year. This year we had 290, almost 290 participants, so an increase of 80%, and we had 667 total entries.
We really had 666. Mark of the Beast.
Mark of the Beast, yeah. 666 is what I was told right before the awards ceremony. So when I announced it to the crowd at the awards ceremony, everybody burst into flames. It was really tough. It was, but
solid.
Yeah. So yeah, that's like an over a 60% increase for number of entries, which was amazing. Which meant it took us about 5.5 hours for that same team to judge that. So in this photo on the left-hand side there, we've got Eric Swinson, who has been a guest on the show last season. You can go and check out. Was it last season? I think so.
Yep.
Must have been. Okay. You can go and check out that episode on the channel. To the right of Eric was Krzysztof Kovalchuk. I'm probably mispronouncing his last name. But apparently it's Polish for Smith.
Kowalczyk.
Probably. Kowalczyk. Radio, there we go. But Krzysztof is a painter from Poland who helps organize the one of the largest painting competitions in Poland called Contrast. this year, in their the show this year, they had 1,400 entries.
Nice.
So, pretty cool. The contrast event is very much a painting focused event. He said they do have a couple of rooms with tables for board games or miniature games, that kind of thing. But it's probably about like 85% painters, 15% gamers. So it's very interesting. We had a great chat, but Eric and Christoph did the judged the masterclass category, masterclass division. So all of the categories in that. To the right of that, you can see Dan Osborne and Vince Venturella, her helping out. At this stage, they've finished judging their apprentice division, and they're helping bring minis to the table for Sam Lentz and Will Hahn. But that was definitely a cool night. We got to have a close-up look at all of the minis, and as I mentioned, lens flare. More of a strange fog, lens fog, really.
Pretty great.
But yeah, one of the things that I found really super interesting was that the Capital Palette is a competition that started at a wargaming convention as a sort of something else to do once you've used your minis in a game, pop them into the painting competition kind of thing. Which means that usually most of what you'll see, particularly in the apprentice and journeyman category, will be journeyman divisions will be wargaming minis. This year, last year in journeyman category, journeyman bust category, we had about 10 busts. This year we had close to 40, which tells me that there's more people who are there's an increase in people who are interested in creating art with their miniatures rather than putting them on, just focusing on that rather than also putting them on the table to game with. So I think it's a
or if you're cynical, it is people are like, hey, there's a big gap in that category. I'm going to try to increase my odds.
That's a lot of people who noticed it then. A lot of people who noticed it and painted some beautiful busts. It was absolutely amazing.
Very nice.
But of course, I'm not cynical. I leave that for you.
Sure.
So let's now jump into some of the favorites from the competition. I don't have a list to compare them against to let you know whether they won or not. There are a couple in here that I do know, so I'll let you know when we come to those. Dave Hummel has arrived. Greetings, Dave.
Hello, Dave.
So first up is this awesome Gore Chosen of Drom group. They just look fantastic. So that's one of the Warhammer Underworlds bands. It's got the guy with the big fan of
there we go.
Fan of knives.
Yeah, those models are ridiculous. They're so weird.
Yeah. But awesome, ridiculously awesome.
Yeah, they look like pro wrestlers.
Be a great Rumble Slam crew. Next up is a this little diorama with Cal Jericho and Scabs, sort of running through the Underhive, and they look super cool. Dave Hummel says middle guy looks almost Aztec. Yep, it's definitely got that that look there.
Cal Jericho's the best.
Yep. Scott says YouTube has made advanced painting so much more accessible, I think, and the cost of display minis versus GW standard is very favorable. I think you see more gamers push into display side projects. I think you're right, Scott.
I can see
more
that.
of that.
It's also a cool way to focus on like a single mini without being like, I'm going to enter into the single mini category.
Right, for busts. Yeah, definitely.
Well, even like this, it's like, so you could have put Cal Jericho in single mini.
Yep.
Or I guess you could have put Cal Jericho and Scabs into like Command Squad.
Yep.
But like you do them like this and now it's diorama. It's another whole category.
Yep. Yeah, they look fantastic. On the back of so there's that door that's behind Cal there is kind of bent at the bottom, and that red that's on it is red light that's leaking through from behind the door.
Nice.
And on the other side of that plant, so if you turn it around, there's basically an irradiated trooper there, and the whole thing is red. So something, something just off scene that is basically there's a big radiation leak going on.
I'm sure it's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine. It'll be fine. Yep. Dave almost says, now Jake has put that idea in my head of finding all the models that look like wrestlers and making a fighting ring.
You're welcome.
All good. Next up is a fantastic single mini, your great Night Lords model. I just love the look of this one. There were quite a few backdrops there in the competition, but
nice.
Yeah, I really like this one. It's one of the better ones.
Didn't this get entered? Didn't this get entered at Adepticon?
Possibly. I don't think it won at Adepticon though.
No, I didn't win, but I think it got entered at Adepticon.
There were quite a few minis that we saw at Adepticon that were entered.
Nice.
Which is absolutely fine. But yeah, the fantastic thing on this one is on the backdrop. There's basically rain falling.
Yep.
And you can see the little raindrops through it. It looks awesome. Next up. Okay, this one won. This was one of the journeyman busts, and this one best in category. It's an Orc Archer, I think it's Spira Mirabilis is the name of the company in Spain. Lucas Pina is the sculptor, I believe. And I'm terrible because I've completely forgotten who painted this one. But it does looks absolutely beautiful.
That is a pretty wiry orc.
Yep. So it says, I don't know why, but I hate taking the same project to multiple shows, hoping for some or more hardware. Yep, I think I don't have a problem with it happening. I think I might have done it once or twice myself with my Lamenter's Contempted Dreadnought. But I was just really super stoked about that model, and I wanted to take it to show off a few times. Oh, Eric's here. Ian Talmadge is the painter.
Is who painted it or who sculpted it?
Is the painter. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That looks good. He's got great use of like light and color and stuff.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful volumes there. It's got some great painted shadows as well.
I will say I do feel like for a bust this size, I probably I probably would have put a bowstring on the bow.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm never a fan of. To be honest, I'm never a fan of them because even at this scale, like a bowstring would be like the thickness of a hair.
Yeah, but you could use like a piece of guitar string.
Yeah, I know.
You could use like a.
I know all the things you could use, but you and I differ on how.
Yeah, like whenever even on regular models, whenever I see it, I'm like, cool. So you're carrying a piece of bent wood, like.
Right.
A bow has a bowstring. Like it always drives me bananas. I hate it.
Right. Okay.
If they're like when they're really small, I get it. You can't do it on the really small ones, but
right. This one was a BattleTech squad. So I guess a lance. Is that what they call it grouping?
Well, it depends. Is it so? It's not up on my screen yet. Is it 4-mechs or 5-mechs?
5.
So that's a clan star.
Clan star. Okay, radio.
Those are all clan mechs.
So
one in the middle is a Timberwolf.
Yep.
The one on the far left, I think, is a Masakari. Right. The little squat one in the front, that could be an Uller. I don't know clan mechs that well. And then the two on the right are the weird bananas like winged clan mechs that are not in the current books. So
okay.
I don't know those ones.
These are old ones. Yep.
But yeah, but the Timberwolf in the middle, that's like a classic BattleTech mech.
Right.
The one with the box missile launchers on its back.
Yep.
That
But no,
one's great.
I liked these. And also love the basing scheme
Yeah.
that gave. So the rest of the mechs have that black, gray, small amounts of green around there.
Yeah.
That are just echoed really well in the tufts on the base, and the white stones there are just lifting that.
Yeah, a little bit of snow, a little bit of patchwork snow.
Stopping it from being too dark. So
I usually contrast my bases pretty hard. I try to go like if my models are cool, I try to do warm bases, vice versa.
Yep. Dan Athanasaurus says Jade Falcon Star.
Yeah, so Jade Falcon is the clan.
Yep.
So
Yep. Cool. So there we go. If you wanted to learn more about BattleTech, just have.
Yep. I mean, I know a ton of. I love that.
Next up, we have this is actually Ninjon's diorama piece that he worked on for Golden Demon. He didn't place it Golden Demon, but he brought it along to the show, and I think he picked up a silver for this one. But yeah, it was very beautiful work.
Not bad. He's got a little vampire count up front, a bunch of zombies and skeletons, a direwolf in there.
Sort of being raised by the vampire as he walks along. This particular view isn't the best view. But if you get like a 3/4 or as it turns around, he has it's basically lit from this side and shadow on the other side.
Yeah.
So pushing the lighting there.
So got some bat swarms in there.
Yeah, a really nice, beautiful, beautiful sharp painting. But he did I think he's done a couple of videos on this one, so you can definitely check those out on the Ninjon YouTube channel. And yeah, Scott just asking Eric if he offered classes at Nova, and Eric
Many classes.
many classes, many classes, for sure. Next up, we have. Okay, so something that we've got coming is the fantastic Howling Banshee bust from Thibaut Ram, who is tail painting on Instagram. And when you see it, you will recognize it completely. This is one that was at Golden Demon. I think Golden Demon in the UK, so at Warhammer Fest or whatever. And it is
Pretty great.
absolutely beautiful.
How big is it?
It is probably, oh my, it's probably about.
So about the size it is on the screen.
Pardon?
About the size it is on the screen.
Well, depends on how big your screen is, right? It's probably about from the bottom of the tabard there up to the top of the top knot is probably about 4 inches.
Okay.
I think.
Nice.
But yeah, absolutely beautiful work. Fantastic. I think it also has some sort of painted shadows onto it to really sell that striking light. But this is the model that won Best in Show at the event.
Nice.
Which is absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous. The armor has got fantastic texture on it. Beautiful worked texture there. Just looks spectacular. But one of the things, something I didn't mention at the start was with the Capital Palette this year. It was sponsored financially by Monument Hobbies, who provided gift cards essentially for the best in categories for across all the divisions. So 18 prizes there. And
Nice.
then for fan favorite and for best in show, they each received $1,500
Nice.
in cash. So Jason had put together the little monument brush vaults, and they'd some gold colored brush fonts, and put the cache inside that. So it's definitely cool. Scott says, "Cool. I think I'll make plans for Nova." And Josh says, "I look at that stuff and I ask, what am I even doing?" And I would say to that, Josh, you are doing exactly what I'm doing, which is having fun painting toy soldiers.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. Somebody who did this is like, I went to art school and my parents are not happy. How do I utilize this art degree? And they're using this, which I think is great, and I think it's awesome, and it's an awesome outlet. And then there's people who are like, I want to get my Space Marines not gray plastic so I can play games and pretend that they're Ultramarines.
Yep.
You're doing it right. That's like, there's no wrong way. Like, they're both fine.
Absolutely. Eric says, was this our first international Best of Show winner? I think it was, Eric. I think it was our first international Best of Show winner. But yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. Thibaut brought some other fantastic minis as well that were in other categories. A couple that you would recognize, but I don't think I have them in the slideshow tonight. I'll check, see what my next
What
one
else
is.
you got?
Well, the next one is, this was the best in category of the Masters squad category from Steve Garcia. So it's an Infinity group squad. What do they call it? What do you call a group of Infinity dudes?
I think it's a squad.
The squad. So, but yeah, definitely very cool.
I love the Infinity models. I think they look so good. My issue with them is like, because they're that super fine white metal.
Yep.
I'm out. I'm good. Like, my days of pin vicing and assembling white metal models, those are over. I'm not doing that.
That's fair.
Like, so the big thing in the background, that's called a tag.
Yep.
And it's basically like a mechanical suit. I love them. I think the whole concept is great.
Yep. They do look spectacular as well. And one of the things I loved about this particular squad is when you have a squad that is, they're all in, everyone's dressed in similar colors. They've got that, you know what the color scheme is. You know that they're connected as a squad. But when they're of different sizes, it breaks it up and it gives them each personality.
It gives the squad a little more like dynamism.
Yep. It's like there's a real group rather than a group of clones. Which you can potentially have. But Steve Garcia brought along some beautiful work.
Those are super nice.
Including this next one, which I think best in category for large scale model in Masters. But absolutely fantastic. That backdrop curves up and away from the view.
What is that? Another Infinity? What is that?
It is. I think it's another Infinity. Like, it's a larger scale Infinity model. It's a
very nice.
But yeah, looks absolutely beautiful, doesn't it?
It's very Thousand Sunsy.
With the like the pale blue and the
blue and the gold, and he looks like a psyker.
Yep, it's got wonderful glow behind the focal point of the head.
The lens flare on the star in the background on the paper is pretty awesome.
Isn't it great? Yep. This wasn't taken with my phone.
No, this wasn't Dave's phone.
This wasn't my phone. Oh no, actually, so it's not an Infinity model, but it's from Chimera Models.
Okay.
Thanks, Eric, keeping us honest here.
I was gonna say, I was like, I don't know what faction. Like, I know Infinity pretty well. I just don't play it. Like, I was like, I don't know what faction that would be.
Right.
But it looks enough like an Infinity model that I would have believed it. Somebody's like, oh, I'm just gonna make up my own paint scheme.
Yep. But next up, this is a fantastic model. This was in Journeyman Large Scale, and I think oh, there we go. Eric says so. Chimera. The model name is Hermes, and they have a whole series of sci-fi Greek gods. So definitely,
makes sense.
If you like that one, definitely go and check it out.
He's got the wings on his ankles. Makes sense.
Check out that range. So here we've got this awesome.
Looks like a Night Goblin.
It is a Night
Third-party
Goblin.
Night Goblin.
Yep, it was in large scale, single large scale model. I think this was Christian Smith painted this.
His armor seems not super effective.
I'm not so. I'm not so sure that he wants to be a warrior. I think he's more sort of the leader type.
Because he's got like the one knee pad and one greave.
Yep.
And that's about it.
I think it's more the classic goblin style, like, over there, go over there, run ahead of me. I'll follow you guys. I'll be there.
Cue the fanatics.
I'll get there. Yeah, cue the fanatics for sure. But no, I love this one. It's just the green of the skin it's just a great. It's got a lot of great depth in it. All over the model is fantastic. Big fan. And so next up, we have this was another one in large scale, which is an awesome sort of cyberpunk mini. I can't remember exactly where it's from, but Eric will let me know. But yeah, it was just beautifully super vibrant, very synthwave.
I believe this is also Infinity.
No, I don't think it is.
It looks like it could be Relic Knights, but
no, it's not that. It's specific. It's a company that does busts and larger scale minis, specifically, not wargaming minis. But it does, it does share a lot with some of those relic blades. Not relic blades. What was I saying?
Neko Galaxy.
Neko Galaxy. Okay, I thought it might have been Neko Galaxy. But yeah, this was definitely very cool. I think this was large scale Journeyman as well, which is great. Next up, we've got a fantastic squad of Drukhari. Oh, what are they? They're like the bodyguards of the Archons. Incubi. Thank you very much. So yeah, great sort of Drukhari Incubi.
Very Chaos Noise Marine colors on them.
Yep. Well, I think the next 3 or 4 models have lent very hard into that purple, magenta, pale blue schemes. But yeah, these were fantastic. Super crisp as well. The edge highlighting on these is very, very fine. It's amazing. But yeah, definitely Mark. They're awesome, awesome colors there. And I think this was in Journeyman 2, Journeyman Squad. Next up, we have I think this was a piece was titled Bane Lash. And this is from Vince Venturella. It's a beautiful Chaos Knight.
Everybody loves that. Everybody loves that wood block with the 5 Dremeled holes for the display base thing. Right. I love that.
Yeah.
This is great. I was gonna say, whenever I hear large model, I'm like, where are the Knights? Where are the Titans? Like, what's going on?
Yep.
That's great.
No, absolutely beautiful. And again, that magenta and magenta to purple fade.
Classic Slaneshi colors.
Yep. Well, it was a beautiful piece. I think Vince scored a silver in Master's vehicle with this.
No, I mean, there's a ton of freehand work on there.
Yeah, absolutely. This photo doesn't show anywhere near.
Yeah, I can see like he's got a hand-painted Chaos Star on the right shoulder above the Meltagun. On the tilting shield, he's got like the light effect feature Slaneshi symbol.
Yep.
And then on the left shoulder pad over the tentacles, it looks like a caricature drawing, like a figure.
Yep.
And then he's got like stripes on the greaves, and then there's also flames on all the greaves. Like, yeah, that's pretty rad.
It's got a lot going on there, but yeah, beautiful work there from Vince. And Eric says, yes, the magenta teal was a popular color scheme. What else did we have?
Everybody loves complementary colors.
And here's another one, which is a fantastic bust. This was Nick Essek, I think. and it was funny. He was talking to somebody and said that he lived in Baltimore, and I was like, "Oh, I live in Baltimore too." And he goes, "Whereabouts in Baltimore?" And I said, "Like Charles Village," and he lives in Woodbury, which is like maybe 3 miles, 4 miles apart. Never met before.
He was like, "Where in Baltimore? Where in Baltimore?" And you were like, "Settle down, weirdo. You don't need to know where I live."
I know. Yeah, I'm not telling you. I'm going to give you a large area to discover.
Yeah.
But anyway, beautiful work on this one. An awesome. It's an awesome sculpt, but loads of fantastic in all of this. All of the cloth, particularly on the headdress there, the hat. There's a lot of fantastic additional freehand patterning.
It does seem weird that it's just like on a wood block, though.
It was taller. Here in this photo, it looks a bit like a unfinished wood block that you sort of picked up from Home Depot. The rest, when you see the rest of it, it's not that.
Okay.
But I think for me, it sells a bit more of a desert kind of feel, with that coloration.
So Scott is curious. He said, "What's the parameters for entering Journeyman versus Masters?"
Basically, so with the let me just switch back to us for a sec. Okay, so with the open format competition, what it allows you to do is over the years to enter and find out which level you're starting at, and then be able to progress through. So if you start in Journeyman and you get a bronze, which would be super cool, then your aim for the next year will perhaps be to pick up a silver. So that's what you're working towards. The year after, it might be a silver and a gold. Perhaps you sort of work through. But once you get a gold in Apprentice, you're encouraged to move to Journeyman, and then work your way through that as well. Because each category is judged by sort of a standard. So there is a specific gold standard in Journeyman. There's a gold standard in Masters, and a gold standard in Apprentice, and all the other standards that sort of flow from that. I think during the award ceremony, Will Hahn and Sam Lenz gave a sort of great description. They talked about the different things that they were looking for, and said that in the different categories, certain elements of it, the things that they were looking for, such as, for example, storytelling. In diorama, storytelling takes a bit more of more importance than in, say, bust painting. So I think back to your question, Scott. I realize I sort of veered off it a little bit. So Journeyman is probably looking at probably focuses a little bit more on techniques and the technical aspect of painting, and Masters, obviously your techniques need to be really dialed in by the time you get there, but more that emotion that you're able to, emotional response you're able to sort of bring with the piece. Yeah, I blame Vince as well, sorry, Eric, for the magenta teal. But Eric can let us know in chat about that. That jump. What's the additional thing that we're looking for in Masters beyond Journeyman? But if you were to come down, really, Scott, it's going to be up to you as to which one you want to enter, which would be just fine.
Scott's like, I'm gonna put this guy in. It's a Malifaux Warband. I'm gonna enter in Youngblood.
Or Apprentice Squad, sure. I think we only let you get away with that once, though. If it's your first time entering the competition. If it's your first night, you have to fight.
We got anything else, or is that all the pictures we got?
No, we've got more. We've got a lot more. So we've got to start racing through, hey?
I mean, if there's a lot more, yeah.
Actually, to be honest, no. that was the final one that I picked out for the from the Capital Palette miniatures. In the show notes below on the page, there is a link to the Nova Open Capital Palette 2023 FLICR account, FLICR album. So you can go there and you can check out over 500 photos of miniatures that were entered at the show. So you can have a browse at your leisure. But these were the ones that, as I was browsing through, that caught my eye. So obviously, magenta and teal are great at catching eyes.
They're big. They're big this year.
Yep. Okay, so quickly, we'll now transition into the photos from the group. So these are all photos from our Build Paint Play Facebook group. Oh, look at this. I'm about to do it before we get to the end of the show. Don't forget, if you like this video, click like, subscribe, notified, share it with your friends, help us grow. We are over 300 subscribers now. We want to work hard to get up to 500 subscribers very soon, which would be fantastic.
Yeah, we need you guys. We need our diehards to get out there and sort of pound the pavement and get some more people on board for us so we can do some more stuff. We're hoping that if this continues to grow, Dave and I are hoping that we'll be able to do more like events and shows live, which would be really neat. So, yeah, I saw this.
Always throws around the things that I've got to back up with technical stuff, and it's like I don't know how to do that yet. That's terrifying.
Well, we would get somebody to help us do that if we're doing it. I mean, that would be less of a problem. Yeah, this is a thug. I love this mech. This mech is so cool.
Right. Yep. So this is Aaron Provost. Has been painted this. I think he painted this at. Oh, where did he say he painted this?
I forget.
I think it was
DragonCon.
So that was one of the other fantastic things. So this weekend, past weekend, so Labor Day weekend at ReaperCon in Texas, there was a massive painting competition. They usually
DragonCon in Atlanta.
It's DragonCon in Atlanta. There was a painting competition. A friend of mine, Trevor, won Best in Show down there, which was awesome. So we think that there are somewhere in the vicinity of 2,000 entries in painting competitions across the US this weekend, which is absolutely awesome. Next up, we have some minis from Chris Gorka, who's been painting up some Shatterpoint recently. So first up, we have from Chris, we've got I think a Scout Trooper. The helmet says Scout Trooper to me, but I haven't seen all the Clone Wars stuff. And a
yeah, so the guy on the left is one of that's one of Commander Cody's guys.
Oh, okay.
And then the guy on the right, that's Captain Rex.
That's Captain Rex in the with the little thing on his helmet.
With the two pistols. That's Captain Rex.
Right. Okay. Cool. And then in the next image, we've got Ahsoka Tano and I guess one of Captain Rex's guys. Maybe? We'll find out in a second. Stupid delay.
It's definitely slower moving on my end there. I'm still looking at Captain Rex and
cool.
Yes, that's Ahsoka Tano, and that's one of Captain Rex's 501st Legionnaires.
Huzzah! I got it right. What a lucky guess.
You did. You did good.
Lucky guess. But they look fantastic, Chris, as usual. And I love, again, we're looking at magenta and teal, right? Well, magenta and blue.
Dude, somebody already broke Ahsoka's lightsabers off at the store. The ones that I did.
No. Boo.
And Ben just re-glued them again the other day.
You should just replace them with some metal rod.
Yeah, if they get broken again, I'm just gonna use some paperclip.
Yep. Next up, we've got Chris Jones. Chris has been painting up some more of, or finishing off some more of his Dark Angels. We have his Eradicators and some Heavy Intercessors. I think this particular photo is talking about the revelation of using gloss varnish for the first layer before you put down a decal.
Old school trick. Back before I had microset and microsol, that was my go-to.
Yep. It's definitely a good one.
Yeah, great.
But looking very cool there, Chris. All good. Next, after that, we have... Oh, what's going on? There we go. We've got some models from Jeff Smith. We have a couple of models from Judgment.
He loves that stuff.
Yeah, Jeff was saying, said to me that he's actually been doing... A lot of this has actually been a commission.
Yeah.
So, you can definitely tell he's enjoying painting it, though. It's a crazy...
weird, like, demon gunner guy.
Demon gunner guy, exactly. It's like, I didn't quite get it. Then there's this, I guess, objective, home base, goalpost. But again, from Judgment. Looks very cool.
I'm still looking at the demon gunner guy.
Oh, it's coming up. But something that the Dark Angels and Blood Angels players would be interested in picking up, I think.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it does have a gorgeous look there. And then Jeff's done a little bit of work magnetizing some Navy breaches. So I'm not sure if you saw this model. Looks fantastic, but this is the like the sergeant of the squad. Chainsword, auto pistol, power sword, bolt pistol.
Nice.
Quite cool.
You gotta love their giant magnetized moon boots. They're the best.
Yeah, yeah. They will keep anybody on the deck once the gravity goes out. They look cool.
Yeah. Auto pistol and chainsword, or like power cutlass and bolt pistol.
Yep. Next up, we have Josh Potter. So Josh was asking, what is he doing? He's painting cool models like this. So this is for Ralpath of Legacy. So again, he's diving back into some ancient minis. But I love that purple there, Josh. Purple and the gold, of course, working really well. But yeah, that particular shade of purple is my favorite. Looks great.
Yeah, I like that guy.
Nice one. Then we've got some Marvel Crisis Protocol minis from Kelly Rowe. So first up is the Green Goblin. So in the classic purple outfit with the bombs. I never realized how like green and purple here and green and purple on the Hulk. So similar.
Yep.
But looking super cool there.
He's a cool mini with his goblin glider and his like pumpkin bombs and.
Yep. I like that the little plume of smoke that's holding it aloft.
Yeah.
Definitely cool there. Next up from Kelly, we've got, I think this was Cassandra Nova, if I remember reading the caption correctly. I'm kind of a little bit worried. It sort of looks like there's some sort of toxic green water spurting up out of the ground.
Yeah, this is a really weird model because, like, from this angle, it looks like Professor X as a wizard.
Right. Okay.
Like with wearing one of like Iron Man's like rocket boots, like it's not Kelly. It is the mini. It is the sculpt that they did. It's just a really odd sculpt.
Right. Yeah, I thought perhaps for a second it was the what's the? It's not the ancient one, is it?
Yeah, it does kind of look like the ancient one.
Okay. Look at me vaguely remembering stuff.
Like if you painted her in all yellows, I would think this is the ancient one.
Right. Yep. And then next up, finally from Kelly here, we've got this model, and I'm not even going to guess at this character. It's so terrible, but the paintings are super cool. Again, I love the fire and the lighting. Kelly did a great job here.
Oh, that's Baron von Strucker,
Okay.
and he's a like a sub lieutenant in Hydra,
Okay.
and he's wearing the Devil's Claw, I think is the name of that gauntlet.
Okay. Excellent. And is it constantly flaming, or can you turn the flame off?
I think he can do different things with it. It's like it's another like eldritch cursed weapon that he like found.
Okay. Nice. So great work there, Kelly. Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Next up from Christian Simonson, we have a little altercation between some Sons of Horus and some planetary defenders.
That's gonna go. I can tell you which way that's gonna go.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Shoot those Sons of Horus guys in the eye.
Yep.
Oh, Satan's Claw. That's it.
Wolfgang von Strucker.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, these are great. Like Christian does such a good job with light. I was like, John Blanche is proud.
Yep, indeed. And we mentioned it last. Well, you asked me like if I had the photo in last week, but I didn't because it arrived a little bit too close to the show.
The statue like onager thing.
Yep.
Oh, this thing is awesome.
Yep. Yeah, Scott says Christian takes great photos. He sure does.
Yeah.
And this one's just just a really wild piece.
That's so good.
Yeah. Awesome there.
that's just awesome. I mean, it's such Blanchitsu. It's like when they used to do the Blanchitsu bit in White Dwarf, where it's like, oh, show us your war bands, and it's all like people that are students of Blanchitsu, and like Christian stuff would 100% blend in.
Oh yeah, crushing it.
He always does such a great job with like, it's really like dark colors. Everything looks like dark and grimy and worn. Like looking at the feet on the mech, it's all chewed up and the marble looks all stained.
Yep.
But then he does like pops of red and pops of blue that really like brighten it up and bring some like dimensionality and like life to the model.
Yep. Absolutely. Hank says,
yeah.
Good thing Jake is here to cover the Marvel and Star Wars material.
Seriously, but
absolutely.
Even the Infinity and the Battletech stuff. Dave's like, here's a Warhammer model, here's a Night Goblin, here's some robots from something, here's some guys from Star Wars, I think.
Yeah, I have very limited bits. Like, I have a hyper-focused nerddom. And
man.
And that's just fine. Yeah? Yeah.
That's right. That's totally fine. There's no wrong way.
You knew what you were getting into.
Yeah,
maybe you hoped that I knew a bit more.
I appreciate that, man. I'm doing what I can.
Well, here's a model from Scott. Scott posted, which is absolutely one of the. Malifaux's got a lot of creepy models.
Yeah.
For my money, this is like one of the creepiest. It's absolutely amazing. That face and that maw. And
that's pretty gross.
And that crazy
like,
elongated arm as well. It's just like
she has like 9 spider eyes.
Yep.
But also doesn't want to get a sunburn, which is why she has her little parasol.
Yep. Absolutely. And I've got to think that blonde hair is just a wig. Got to think. Oh, just says night shift to me. Thanks for the stream. Got a jet. Catch you later, Josh. Thanks very much for joining us. And Mark says that's really good. It is really good. Awesome stuff from Scott there. This is for me. This is like more body horror than Kingdom Death.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would say more. I would say it's
for me. It's for me, purely for me.
Sure.
I find this more terrifying than anything that I've seen from Kingdom Death.
Yeah.
Even the cloak of penises.
Yeah.
This panics me more. But no, beautiful work, Scott. Again, lovely greens, and I love that sort of burgundy brown. The dress looks awesome.
It's really good.
Yep. Just said, don't forget to paint more minis. Bill Pinkley.
That's not it.
Bill Pinkley. Awesome. Next up, we've got some pics from Stephen Ryder. So he picked up some squat trikes for his Epic.
Oh yeah, so these are great.
So, yeah, looking cool. I think he's just going to rejigger the bases, touch up the riders a little bit. He said he picked these up from a friend, I think. But nice stuff there. And also the other exciting thing that Stephen shared was a picture of the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 12 metal miniatures clerics and druids box set.
So awesome. That takes me back.
Yep. Super old school. Stephen is definitely riding that old school wave at the moment. But it looks fantastic. And in this post, he mentioned that he got three halfling adventurers. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I totally had that box set when I was like 11. That's awesome. Super cool to see. Then we're going to move quickly on to a photo from Jan Falange. Has been working on his World Eaters recently. And done up this Rhino for them. So 40k World Eaters. And
still with the skulls all over it?
Yep.
Yeah, this one looks good. Yeah, there we go.
I saw him at Nova on the weekend, and I must admit I completely forgot to ask.
It's a little too clean for my taste. I feel like it needs to be gored up a little bit and needs like some wear and tear.
Yep.
Because it's not like the World Eaters are like, hey boys, just got back from killing stuff. Hey, somebody want to throw a new coat of wax on this thing? Like,
let's scrub it down. Scrub it down. Yeah, but I was going to ask if the all those skulls there were individually hand placed, or if that was like a 3D print or resin piece that you'd purchased.
That looks like it's 3D print or resin, or yeah, it looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like it's 5 pieces.
Okay.
Because like you can see the gap if you look on the left side underneath the bayonet on the, which I love that there's a bayonet on a pintle mounted bolter, but
it is awesome.
But right under the bayonet you see the seam.
Yep. Yeah.
Like that looks like it's 1 piece there, and then 2 pieces on top, and then 2 pieces on the side.
Right. Could be. But yeah, nice that Jan's army is coming along, and
that's nice.
Something that he.
Answer Scott. That's a bad guy tank.
Right. Yep.
only Chaos Space Marines can have a Havoc launcher.
And also, only Chaos Space Marines would put all of the skulls so close together.
Yeah, right.
Imperial Space Marines would spread them all out around.
Yeah, they're usually more tastefully organized if you're a loyalist.
Awesome. I think.
Wow, the chickens are great.
Yep, I think. Pretty sure it was Conquest had a box set of angry chickens. Just it's like a fun, goofy thing. Maybe it was Malifaux. I don't know. But
pretty great.
Yeah. So Yana's got these for basically to represent. Oh, he's gonna have these in his collection, and when his guys are battle shocked. During the game, he's going to put the angry chicken next to them. So they're scared, but they're still angry.
Chickens for the chicken god, eggs for the egg throne.
Yep. That sounds like a very delicate throne. I would not like to sit on that. But absolutely super cool there. And that is it for this evening's adventure.
We'll actually get done pretty close to an hour and a half tonight. That's pretty good.
Oh my goodness, that'd be crazy. I guess we should talk for another 8 minutes.
Pretty pro.
Not at all.
Listen, so we'll post the beginning of the week what we're gonna have for next week. We'll probably have a guest next week.
Yep.
We don't know who yet. We have a couple of options, but we'll definitely have a guest. And like we talked about in the middle, make sure you guys are telling everybody. Hopefully, we'll get some more people on here. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will try to get our Blue Sky set up and running for next week too, so we'll have that as well.
Okay. So,
I gotta remember to log. I can remember if I can log in and y'all set up with all the new images and stuff. But
Yep, let's try and do that. Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think yeah, as Jake said, guess next week. I think Jake and I will talk about a potential Tale of Four Gamers thing, which might be which probably be like an additional show, or we'd splice it in every few, or like once a month, do a
we can
Tale
do
of Four
that.
Gamers show, which could be fun. Take us towards doing something cool at Adepticon. Says good luck to any NFL fans except the Bengals. They can kick rocks. Browns 1-0. But you want the season to end now, Scott. Browns on top. Awesome.
Scott, I figured you'd be watching like the Saskatchewan Roughriders or something.
No. Nobody watches the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Really? Well, who's he a fan of? Is he
The Browns.
Calgary Stampede, or
He's a fan of the Browns.
he's not allowed to like American football? He's a Canadian.
He's allowed to.
Watch your own sports. Get out of here.
Fantastic.
I'm just kidding. The Browns need all the fans they can get.
They do. They do. Now they're up to 3, I think. But anyway, so we're going to do that. Talk to Jake about another couple of format options, or that we can fit within the show, and based on some conversations I had over the weekend. But thanks everybody for joining us, talking about Nova Open. Check out as I said, check out the link to their FLICR below, and you can look at all of the entries. So in there, it's not. I think it's only organized by how they came in, how they were submitted, or sort of. So you'll see lots of groupings. So there might be groupings of journeyman entries, or apprentice entries, or masterclass entries. And you'll have all of those all the way through. We're super excited to see it grow again next year. We're going to be asking the Nova Open board for 3 more cabinets, so take us from 6 to 9, which I think we will probably need. I think we'll definitely need for next year. But yeah,
Right on.
definitely super cool, absolutely fantastic. Check out their social medias and have fun. We'll see you next week.
Yep.
And
I was going to say that's it. So and as always, if we're ready to go, as always, don't forget to
build,
paint,
play.
Shut up and sit down. Shut up and sit down. and sit down. Shut up 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 and sit down.